All right, today I came up with a story. It's a strange thing that happened in my life. I'm not very superstitious or believing in ghost kind of person, but it just happened to me and I want to share it with you. Um, have you ever had an encounter with um, a paranormal phenomena in which um, something that happens that you can't really explain? There is no logical explanation to it. There is no scientific explanation to it. So what happened about a year ago? There is a graveyard in my hometown, and it's a Victorian graveyard. It's a British graveyard. It was established by the British about 200 years ago when they ruled over this part of the world. And all the graves come from their soldiers and military people and military doctors. So you can see the graves with their, the gravestone has an English name and the date of birth. And the graves come from like 1800s, early 1900s. That's quite a fascinating place. And why do I go there? Actually, I don't go there now, but why I went there frequently, because it's so peaceful. And there are tall trees. Trees are as old as the graves, like 100, 200 years old. It's so peaceful, in fact. And I can just sit down there and read and do my creative work, write a book, or just shoot a video. So I went there with my puppy, so he would play around while I was studying and just enjoying the aura and beauty of that spot. It's really historical. And there is a kind of an aura and sense of presence in that area. And one particular grave, which I'm going to discuss later, is of a girl who died about 100 years ago. And it's not like coming out of the ground. It's like with the ground level. And the gravestone, like that, the tablet on the top says Mary Smith. So Mary Smith is the name of the person, the deceased person who died 100 years ago, and she's buried there. And it says she was 25 years old. A British lady long ago who died is buried underneath there. And I happened to sit by the grave because there is some like a tall place and a grass, so you can sit down there very comfortably. And just for dignity, I cleaned that grave with a piece of cloth, and I just said, okay, this nobody knows this lady, and maybe her family is in England or somewhere and they don't know there is a grave because British left in 1947. So I just cleaned it up every time I went there. So one time I stopped going there because it was the spring season came, and then the hot weather, so I avoid going there in hot weather because it's so suffocating. So I went there in winters only. So I skipped the summer and spring, and the autumn came. So what happened one night when I was asleep, in my dream, I go into a university. So I see myself in my dream walking around at a university. I'm a teacher, so that dream came and I see a bunch of students walking around, and suddenly I hear my voice. Somebody calls my name, Rizwan, and look into the crowd of students. And there is a person who is white. She has curly hair, brown, kind of blue eyes, and I saw her eyes piercing through me, and she called my name, Rizwan. I said, all right. I walked up to her, and I said, who are you? And she said, I'm Mary. I said, Mary, who? She said, you never visit me anymore. I wait for you. And immediately I got up, and that dream stuck into my brain, and I said, why did it come? So when I got up, it was early morning. So I could hear the call for the prayer from the mosque. And I got up, I took a shower, and I went straight into that graveyard because Mary, in my dream, that gravitated me toward that graveyard. It was just like dawn. It's right before the sun comes out, and I reached there. and I went to her grave, and when I stood there, I could feel the smell of jasmine flowers. And I looked around, there are no flowers, this is randomly growing bushes and tall grass. No one really tend that place. It's in ruins. Many of the graves are in debilitating situation. And I could smell that jasmine flower. And I sat by the grave and I prayed. And I don't know where that smell came from, but I could feel that kind of, there's somebody around. And in my heart, I prayed to God, and I spoke with the lady underneath in the grave, and I say, Mary Smith, I'm so glad you came to my dream, and I'm here, and I could not see you for a long time. Thanks for coming into my dream. That was like 25 years. I still remember that image when she walked up to me, taller, about 5 feet 8 inches, 9 inches tall, slim figure, wearing white robes, and very delicately she walked into me, and she spoke in the British accent, and she introduced herself. And after that, I went there very often. And that was a kind of a spiritual connection with somebody who died long time ago. I'm not sure what was that, but this is what happened in my life. I have another incident, similar incident, which I will describe in some other video. So these things really intrigue me. I'm a fan of dark and mysterious things. I always visit abandoned building. When I lived in America and in China, China is a very ancient country, so I always visited those places. Run down ancient remains of the building where no one lives, and it's just fascinating. If you happen to visit some ancient places, particularly ancient graveyards, you feel a kind of energy there. You feel that there is something other than you that you can't see. So that's my tale. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please comment down below, and we'll meet up later. Thank you.